If you are building a real estate portfolio, traditional mortgage underwriting is an avalanche of tax forms, income verification, and financial anxiety. Today, we will bypass all of that by showing you exactly how to calculate your debt service coverage ratio, or DSCR. The core rule of a DSCR program is straightforward. Loan qualification is based entirely on the cash flow of the property itself. You do not need to provide a single personal income document. By completely removing personal income verification from the equation, you eliminate the biggest delays in the system, making the closing process incredibly fast and hassle-free. Look at this checklist. You only need two specific numbers for the property: the gross rent and the monthly debt service, also known as PIDIA. That means you can immediately stop digging for IRS Form 4506, your recent salary stubs, and your personal bank statements. You should also ignore any income generated by your other existing rental properties. Underwriters are only looking at the specific asset you are financing. Restricting the required data to just these two property-specific numbers removes the largest administrative bottleneck in real estate financing. Step 1 is locking in your gross rents. But keep in mind, this is not always the number written on your signed lease agreement. To verify rent, underwriters review two official documents completed by the appraiser: Form 1007 for rent surveys, or Form 216 for operating income. LendSure applies a strict lower of rule. The underwriter will compare your lease agreement against the appraiser's forms, and they will use whichever number is smaller. If you are operating a short-term rental, like an Airbnb, verify your rental income using direct statements from the platform or your property management firm. Applying this lower of rule right at the beginning of your math prevents you from overestimating your qualifying income and facing a surprise rejection right before closing. The calculation: gross rents divided by PITIA gives your DSCR. A 1.0 ratio means the property generates just enough cash flow to cover its monthly debt. Above 1.0, you have a cash surplus. Below 1.0, it operates at a deficit. If you are refinancing an existing property, LendSure requires a minimum benchmark ratio of 1.00. However, if you are purchasing a new property, that passing threshold drops down to 0.80. This 0.80 rule means you can successfully secure purchase financing even if the property technically operates at a slight monthly deficit on paper. Sometimes your actual signed lease is higher than the appraiser's Form 1007 estimate. You can override the lower of rule and use that higher lease amount, but only if you provide exactly 2 months of verified proof of receipt from the tenant. If the property is a new purchase without an existing tenant or an unleased refinance, you default entirely to the gross rents projected on those appraiser forms. If your initial DSCR score still falls short of the benchmarks, there is an optimization tactic. You can qualify using an interest-only payment instead of a fully amortized PITIA. By utilizing LendSure's 10-year interest-only period on a 40-year amortization schedule, you artificially shrink your monthly debt service number. This mathematically boosts your final DSCR score, often pushing a denied application into the approved range. You now have your precise DSCR score, and you know exactly where you stand against the 0.80 and 1.00 benchmarks. Take your validated numbers and contact your LendSure account executive or visit lendsure.com to initiate your loan. Mastering this single equation gives you the leverage to scale your real estate portfolio entirely free from the friction of